Good afternoon, and welcome to this special meeting of our Vampire Hunters Club. It appears Aiden won't be joining us this afternoon. He was up all night doing the stakeout with Marika, Danny, and Leah.
Yes, he was, and after an update from Leah, I decided to call an emergency meeting. What are we going to do about Candy? The more we mess around, the more we may lose the element of surprise.
But on the other hand, if we are proactive and we destroy her, what if we can't find any more? Maybe we should follow her and find out where she goes, and then at least we can destroy her and have somebody else to follow.
I'm not going to kill her. I've met her. I haven't seen any evidence of her killing anyone. I'm not a vigilante.
Rats one day, humans another. That's one way of looking at it. But it could also be rats one day, and the next day rats also.
Is there a way we could capture her, take her to a safe place and interrogate her?
I've met her before, so what if I go visit her at the morgue, 45 minutes before sunrise, and have a little talk with her?
Why would she tell you the truth? What kind of questions would you ask? And why would you want to be alone with her?
I'd ask her the sort of questions I'd ask any suspect. And I think if it's close enough before sunrise, she won't have many options.
Yeah, what if she just attacks you or kills you?
I can take care of myself.
I certainly wouldn't want you there all alone. Perhaps we could wait outside or around the corner.
She seems like a smart person. If she were to kill me at that point, she's not going to have time to clean up. It's not in her interest to kill me.
I've heard stories about vampires having superhuman speed. Perhaps she could clean up quickly.
At least bring your old police pistol.
Of course.
That probably isn't going to do much good.
Maybe you should take a squirt gun full of holy water.
I came to this group, hoping to find more information about what Candy is. Is there any concrete information? This seems like you all just guess and speculate.
We should stake her out, follow her and find somebody else. Get the next lead before we burn this one.
What about that other person you saw sleeping in the morgue?
Yeah, I had just watched 3 autopsies that day, left with Candy and then went back in. I had access because I was on the force.
There are concerns about people on the police force possibly being involved with vampire business.
That's a valid question, Wade. The vampire I encountered in Los Angeles, he showed me his fangs, had superhuman speed, and at one point, I fainted while trying to escape. When I came to, I was in the back of a police car. The officer said that I was walking the street incoherent. It's quite possible that some officers in law enforcement are in cahoots with the vampires.
That's it. I'm confronting Candy before sunrise. If she runs away, then you guys can follow her from a safe distance.
If you go someplace else, there may be more vampires, and that would be a lead.
Leah, you used to be a police officer, so you must understand the importance of having a partner and backup.
I'm not able to provide much assistance in the way of fighting, but if anyone gets hurt, I am able to administer first aid.
I have a wire, so you guys can listen to what's going on while I talk to Candy.
I think a couple of us should stay at the house, in case he tries to flee there. The other can stake out the morgue, and pursue it a distance if she flees. He wants to wait with me at the house?
I will.
Sounds like a great plan. I'm going to go home and get some rest so I can be fresh for this meeting. Excuse me, Dr. Quincy, do you have a few minutes?
I guess, what do you want?
I'm checking into this case, and I have some questions for you. A while back, I witnessed you perform 3 autopsies. We left together and I remembered I needed to ask you something. So I returned to the morgue, and you weren't there. So I just looked through the cold lockers, and I saw a woman that didn't have a name, or an obvious manner of death.
Well, this is a morgue. I perform autopsies, because the cause of death is not always obvious.
I returned at night to ask you about her, when I saw you talking to her just outside the building.
No, I think you are mistaken. Are you here, on official business?
I'm here, on my business.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Or I'll have to call the police.
No, we need to talk.
You've lost your mind.
No, I have not. I know that you are only up at night.
Yes, because I have a condition. Are you familiar with the American Disabilities Act?
Yes, but I don't believe vampirism qualifies.
What foolishness.
I know you're helping the police department hide victims.
I'm not helping the police department. You'd better put away that gun. It's going to make a lot of noise.
We're here.
Yes. What? Candy just disappeared into thin air. Are you okay, Leah? Your jaw looks broken.
Candy got into her car and is pulling out of the parking lot. Danny and Marika, I believe she is headed your way. Leah's hurt. I'll tend to her, then we'll be on our way to you.
Copy that, Chris. We'll be here.
Your jaw looks broken.
Not yet.
Hold still, let me help.
What the fuck did you just do?
I healed you. Let's meet the others at Candy's house.
You stay away from me.
Chris left and said to call him if someone got hurt.
There's definitely something creepy about him.
He healed your broken jaw. I think that's a good thing.
Well, we shouldn't go in until daylight. Glad to see Wade has his trusty crowbar.
It's not my first rodeo. I'm not squeamish.
I need to get myself out of this mess. I'm on cameras at the morgue. Of course she did attack me, and I fired my gun. I could tell them that I went to see her because there was some things about the bodies in the Guadalupe River that were bothering me. When I asked, she suddenly attacked me. Then she took off and I tried to follow, but lost her and decided to go to the police.
Assuming we destroy her, we can take her phone, remove the SIM card, turn it off, and take her computer, and her car, and make it look like she fled. What happens to the body after you destroy a vampire?
It reverts to the state of decomposition it would have been, had the vampire not been turned.
So basically, if the police come to the house, they will find an old dead body here.
That's the theory, at least.
Alright then, I'm going to the police and I'm trusting that you guys will take care of the situation here.
We will.
Well, Chief, now that we've caught up on all the small talk, let me tell you why I'm here.
So this wasn't just a friendly visit?
I only wish it was. I have a confession to make. You remember all those bodies they were pulling out of the Guadalupe River?
Yes, the fentanyl overdoses.
Yeah, well, don't be so sure about that.
What do you mean?
A while back, I witnessed Candy doing an autopsy on a fentanyl overdose. I have a degree in forensic science, and some things weren't adding up. I went back to visit her out of personal curiosity. She must have had something to hide, and thought I was there in an official capacity, because out of the blue, she violently assaulted me. I maintain a concealed carry permit, because of my previous law enforcement career. I fired a shot but she ran out of the building, got into her car and drove off. I tried to follow her, but she had too much of a head start.
Okay, I'm going to need your gun for the investigation.
No problem, sir.
And I'll need you to fill out some paperwork testifying to what you have just told me.
Of course.
Once that's done, we'll start on our investigation.
Damn! I'm sorry I missed our first group kill.
Me too. How did it go?
It was pretty exciting. I mean, that thing was so evil. I hit it with my rosary, and it screamed.
Rose, your rosary beads and the holy water and crucifix work because you have true faith.
Wade, for all your experience killing vampires, you didn't do very well with your crowbar.
There were so many of us in a tight space, and I didn't want to hit one of you.
Well, I opened the first window, but it faced south, so that was a bust.
Then the thing awoke and charged Danny, so Rose started hitting it with her rosary, which gave me the perfect opportunity to tear open the curtains on the other window, which faced east. And the glorious light beams hit the creature, and it burst into flames.
All that remained was an old, dried-up skeleton. And just like the others I destroyed, The fire only burned the vampire. Nothing else in the room was even singed.
Yes! I can't wait for us to find another one.
Then I had to do the hard part. Had to make her car disappear. Her computer just had a bunch of work stuff on it. It looked like she was covering up for vampires that killed people, and the police prefer drug overdoses to the idea of a serial killer.
What about the phone? Did it yield any useful information?
All of her professional contacts seemed to have a first and last name. Then there were a number of other contacts that only had first names. And some of those names were rather odd. Like Avogadro and Darth. We got a burner phone, and tried texting and calling the numbers. We tried calling and texting from Candy's phone. It seems the numbers have been reassigned to new people.
We've accepted a new vampire hunter into our group. She's been invited to our meeting, but she claims that she works during the day.
By the way, when I went through Candy's old text messages, there was one from an Evie, which was around the time I saw that woman in the cold storage. Evie wanted a place to stay for a day. I'm sure she's the same one.
Well, I don't think we need to add any new vampire hunters to our in-person group for now. We've upped our game significantly, and the stakes are a lot higher. We'll string along the others in the group, just to hear what they have to say.
And Chris, what's up with you? Candy broke my jaw, and Chris healed it.
I have the gift of healing. There is more to the supernatural world than just vampires. Rose, for instance, has supernatural faith.
What are you?
I'm human. I have studied the New Age and quantum physics.
As long as you aren't a Satanist, we welcome any help to defeat those satanic and murderous vampires.
Danny, I hope you wiped down our fingerprints in that house.
Of course I did, and in the car as well.
I'm very curious as to what the police will make of Candy's disappearance, and the discovery of that decomposed body in her bed.
Meanwhile, I'm going to ask people in the group to post names, addresses and pictures of people they suspect of being vampires. Then we can investigate them, and if found to be truly vampires, we can destroy them.
Yes, Rose. I'm on board with destroying these creatures.